Hello, and welcome to the Bluegrass Sports Show. Or,
The BS Show. Two fat guys talking crap.
I am Carl,
And I'm Perry.
and he is Perry the Animal. And today, we are going over our picks for the top five modern point guards of the NBA, top five that are still currently playing.
What else would you like to say about today?
About today, we have had some more technical issues.
That wasn't what I was talking about.
So, but what we are going to do today, hopefully nothing screws up. And I guess what Perry's referring to is the fact that he did beat me playing cornhole just a little bit ago.
Not just beat you.
No, he destroyed me. We played 7 straight games, him and my wife, me and my 6-year-old daughter,
Who
and we lost.
Fantastic.
She was. The last 3 games, she literally carried my team. But we lost. 7 straight games, we lost. So I give him props for that. He actually, and I mean, there's no arguing it. You won 7 games. There's nothing I can say. You know what I mean? But just to jump right into the video, we are going to try to limit it this time. We have been going way over, and we do apologize for that. We just get rolling, arguing. It's hard to stop a train. So today we are going to try to limit that to 15 minutes. Perry,
Yes, sir.
would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
Go ahead.
Me to start. Okay.
I took first dibs on our all-time point guard list. You can have the
Yes.
top 5 modern.
You did do that. So at number 5 with current point guards, I've got to go Mike Conley.
Once again, this is pretty off the cuff. We've had very limited
Yes,
preparation for this.
we have. And that's really our fault. And one thing is that when we first talked about this, we actually talked about it while we were playing cornhole. And we talked about doing it. I was thinking we were going to do a top 5 players in the NBA currently. But we decided to do a top 5 per position like we did a top 5 all time. So that was kind of flipped, and this was right before we recorded this video. So that's why it's right on the brink of us trying to come up with stuff. So anyway, my number 5 is Mike Conley. And when you talk about not doing a whole lot in the postseason, I mean, Mike Conley ain't done a whole lot in the postseason. He's played a whole lot of games, and they've been a tough contest, a tough out in a lot of those series.
He's been to more Western Conference finals than Chris Paul has.
He has done that, but you could argue that he's had a better team.
I think he's also 2-0 or 3-0 head-to-head against Chris Paul in the playoffs.
You could argue he's got a better team. I mean, hands down.
Okay, if that's your argument, and the Clippers have been higher seeded than the Grizzlies every time.
Yeah,
Then
I
so be it.
agree.
But
I just don't like the Clippers. I don't like them as a team. I don't think they're
I was
that
never a
great.
fan of the Clippers either. But
I mean, Blake Griffin at your number 2 is just not a very good number 2.
he
It
should
could be much better. He could be.
He should be the number one. He should have been the number one option for that team. But himself
is what's holding him back.
wouldn't take that role. I like Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley. And had you not taken Mike Conley, I probably would have. But to differentiate,
Got to have argument.
I'm going to go Damian Lillard. To me,
Which is still a great pick.
To me, Damian Lillard combines the explosive scoring ability of a Steph Curry or a Kyrie Irving, and he puts it with better defense than probably both of them.
True.
Not as good a playmaker.
I don't know if he's the scorer Steph Curry is.
Really?
I don't know if he's quite the scorer. Well, he's probably the scorer, just not quite the shooter.
Dame could score, but he's a much better athlete. He can fly. He was my favorite Lehigh player of all time.
How many other Lehigh players do you know?
It doesn't matter. He's the only one who ever led a 15-2 upset over Duke in the tournament. But
at least me, I know no other Lehigh players.
And they still talk about that Lehigh team. But anyways, he's a great scorer, good defender, probably F for playmaking, but his athleticism, the team that he leads to the playoffs every year in Portland, in a loaded Western Conference, it's not really that great of a team. I mean, he's got CJ. He's had an overrated Mason Plumlee, and he's got whichever big Ikic guy they got from the Nuggets last year. I think they got. Is it Jurkic the one that they got? Okay, they got Jurkic.
Nurkic.
Yurkic. But anyways,
Maybe in salad.
I'm gonna. It could be
Spelled Nurkic.
Maybe I don't know. But anyways, I'm going with Dame at number 5, and my number 4 to me is the best pure.
Now I want to touch on something before you jump into your number 4. Is we talk about the a difference between Conley and Lillard. Lillard is the man, hands down, no questions asked, of that team. Conley, maybe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He could be considered the number 1. He could be considered number 2.
Marc Gasol had a good year last year.
Marc Gasol's had a good year every year.
I wouldn't go
I like
every
Gasol.
year,
I mean, when you're talking about centers, there ain't a whole lot that can beat Marc Gasol.
There's several that can beat Marc Gasol.
I don't know about it.
He had his best scoring year. He averaged like 19 a game last year.
I'm just talking defensively. I mean, to me, that's what he really does well, is defense and rebounding.
Terrible rebounder.
You think he's terrible
He only
rebounder?
averages 6 a game.
Really?
Really?
I so thought it was more than that.
No,
Every game I've watched, he done so much better.
no, he's a.
I must just watch his good games.
He's a 6 or 7 board.
I didn't know
guy.
that at all.
No, he won Defensive Player of the Year on arguably the best defensive team whenever he won it back in 2013.
Right. I mean, yeah,
So-
they're always an extremely stout defensive
Yes.
team. I love the Grizzlies.
Now, my number 4, talking about defense, is arguably the best defensive player on this list. It depends how you compare him with Paul.
Right, exactly.
Is John Wall.
Yeah.
John Wall, the only thing separating him from being the best pure point guard in the league right now is the fact that he still hasn't got past the next step in the playoffs, to me. And in my opinion, if home court is switched last year between them and Boston, they play Cleveland. I don't think they beat Cleveland because they have no answer for LeBron and Love. But they give Cleveland a 10 times better series than Boston did.
Another thing we're talking about, I mean, they were the better team than Boston.
Yep, the home court was
To
different.
me, they are the second best team in the East.
Second? Really?
Well, yeah. I'm not putting them above Cleveland.
I like Miami.
Not quite. I think the Wizards are better, but it's all because of Wall. It's all because of Wall.
Bradley Beal's pretty good.
He's all right, but he's got injuries. There's a problem.
That's true.
And he's hotfully challenged.
He's 6'5". Give him a break.
That shooting guard.
You know what? Whenever he's at Florida, it seemed like he played the 3 at Florida the year we won.
You
the title.
think he seemed taller? I thought he seemed like 6'2".
No, whenever I guess just because he played on the wing and he was all the time matched up with Gilchrist, he just seemed bigger to me.
But no, he's a little hotfully challenged. But if injuries wasn't a problem for Bradley Beal, Bradley Beal's easily the number 2 player.
Should have been an all-star last
who's the number 3?
The number 3 is probably Otto Porter.
Exactly.
I guess it is.
When you talk about 3 options,
the money they just gave him, it better be Otto Porter.
He don't have a number 3 option. I mean, that's my problem with the Wizards, and that's why I don't count playoff straps against the player.
I do, but it's just to me.
I mean, we're not talking about all-time greats here. All-time greats, you need to be able to push past.
I understand.
Playmaking,
scoring. 23 and 10 last year. He's not a pure scorer. He's looking to be a playmaker first. He's a natural point guard. Behind Westbrook, probably the second best athletic point guard in the league.
I'm going John Wall number 4 as well, just so you know. That's why we're right on point here.
I mean, he's not a shooter. He'll take shots he has to keep the defense honest.
Right.
But still 23 and 10 last year.
He'll shoot it if the game's on the line.
Yes.
He will pop that shot if the game's on the line. He's not scared.
And he'll hit it.
And he'll hit them. And he's also, one thing I saw on ESPN was they showed the stats for John Wall up to this point in his career. And he is ranked right up there. The only other 5 that's had this kind of stats up to this point in their career, all of them Hall of Fame point guards. So John Wall's there. He's there. He's just not been in here long enough to solidify it.
Or had the talent around him.
Yeah, or had the talent. Exactly. I mean, we're talking about team holding you back. His team's holding you back. He's so loyal.
He had a little bit of injury problems too earlier in his tenure in the NBA that really stunted the growth of the Wizards somewhat. But the last 2 years, he's came
on, man. He's tough.
It's the only reason why I still put Paul ahead of him.
It's just Paul's done more because he's been here longer. I don't know that he's actually done more playoff wise.
I don't think he has done more, other than the fact that just accumulation of stats
Right, exactly. He's got better stats, but it's only because he's been in the league longer.
Okay.
So another thing is that when we talk about John Wall, I had it and I lost it.
Okay.
I had it and I lost it.
Well, go ahead and go to your number 3. You might get
Okay,
it
number
again.
3. Well,
It's your turn.
we're both though right there. So
Yep.
we're sitting here talking about Paul Wall being, So another thing, or at number 3 we got Chris Paul, and just like we said literally a second ago, Paul's done more at this point because he's been in the league longer. And Paul's a great point guard. I mean, I'm not knocking Paul by any means, but Wall will pass him. That's for sure. I really believe Wall's going to surpass him. Wall will be one of the great point guards ever, I think.
Chris Paul's had a lot more talent around him than what John Wall's ever had.
I completely agree. And when we talk about
never been to the conference finals.
Another thing, going back to Mike Conley, we talk about defensive point guards. Mike Conley's probably number 3 defensive point guard on this list.
Yep.
To me, I mean, I put Mike Conley right there.
Conley might actually be better than both of them.
Then Wall in.
It'd be close.
I don't. Yeah, but then 3 are it. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
I can't add anything more to Chris Paul.
no.
My Dookie out there, he's a huge Chris Paul fan, and
I'm really hoping the Houston Rockets do great this year. I am, just because that'll get that monkey off of Chris Paul's back. You know what I mean?
That monkey ain't leaving until next year, and him and LeBron and whoever else go to the Lakers.
I pray, hope and pray. Oh, that's what I was going to say about John Wall. Sorry. They talked about Kyrie wanting to switch teams, which now he's traded to the Celtics. But John Wall said that Kyrie was an idiot, basically. He said if he was in the position Kyrie's in, accept the back seat and get championships.
Yep.
Because Wall's been in that spot where you're the man and just can't move past better teams.
Yep.
So he knows what that's like, and now Kyrie's stepping into that role, and Wall's saying, "You're stupid. Stay where you're at."
You can ride passenger in a Cobra Mustang, or you can drive a Pinto. Well, you know.
Beautiful reference.
So I mean, it's
yeah.
Now to number 2, this is where I'm going to have Steph Curry, and it's going to contradict our top 5 all time because I have Curry ranked in the top 5.
Which is, we're not doing that. But anyway, go ahead.
2-time MVP, 2-time champion. What you got? But anyways, the reason why I have him at number 2 is because the guy I have at number 1 just averaged a triple-double.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't really argue that Steph is better than somebody right now at his position that just averaged a triple-double.
Yeah, no.
Best, most lethal scoring option at the guard
and easily
position.
the weakest defense of anybody on the list.
On the list. No.
On the list, yeah.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yes. Actually, if you stop thinking, Westbrook's a decent defender. We've got a pretty decent list.
Yeah, but no, Westbrook's not Paul Wall.
No, he's not.
On the level.
But go ahead.
He's just good.
Anything to add about Steph?
Well, me personally, I'm not a huge Steph fan.
That who you got at number 2?
Yeah, that's who I got at number 2 as well, and I got Westbrook at number 1. We know this, obviously. Which is sorry, guys, that we have agreed on most of this list. That's sad, but and I don't know if that's ever really happened. Has it? Only one difference.
What is happening here is because he accepted defeat outside.
Oh,
so he's just coming around to my way of thinking,
man.
And he's going
no,
to
wait. This would be you accepting because you're moving Curry down.
No,
I would never put Curry at the top. So that
I'll tell you this: before this past season, and Westbrook averaged a triple-double, I would have.
I still don't put him over Westbrook. I really don't.
He just come off back-to-back MVP
seasons. Yeah, but that's no.
He's been to 3 straight finals.
I just don't like it. But anyway.
Back-to-back MVP seasons.
I just don't like it, man. That's a lot of the product of the team, too.
So?
And it's the way they play. We talked about Mike D'Antoni. We did not talk about Mike D'Antoni. I meant to talk about Mike D'Antoni.
Okay,
I thought about it when we was talking about the Rockets and Chris Paul.
Go ahead.
Mike D'Antoni is an offensive genius, right?
Yep.
I still don't know if I put him on Steve Kerr's level.
Oh,
offensively.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, just offensively, not any other part of coaching. Literally just offense. I still think Steve Kerr might beat him.
You know, he almost took the Knicks job and got offered the Warriors job.
Who?
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr? I didn't know he almost took the Knicks job.
Almost took the Knicks job.
God,
Phil Jackson offered it to him before he offered it to Derek Fisher.
Oh man, he would have regretted
And
that.
he was actually expected to take that job, and then just up in the blue took the Warriors job.
Which, I mean, but that's another thing. And we talk about if the Warriors did not, well, not this Warriors, but before they got Kevin Durant, if they did not have Klay Thompson, Steph Curry's not winning MVP. You can double team him, you can take him out. But the fact that he's got another deadly shooter playing right next to him, and now two deadly shooters playing right next to him, you cannot switch off and double team anybody. They've also got Draymond at the power forward who can hit threes, so you can't slack off him. I mean, he's not going to drop like them, but he can hit them. The only position that can slack off is center, and they can't keep up with them.
That's essentially like saying if you didn't have a fork to go with his spoon, you wouldn't have silverware. So what? He's got another great shooter on his team.
I've never heard that reference.
I mean what I say. You're saying
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, if you take that away, I mean, Steph Curry's still a great player, but the Warriors are not going to be as good. He's not going to win 2 championships. You know what I'm saying?
He just won a championship without Klay this year.
That's what he had Kevin Durant.
I know,
but
so Klay was a no-show.
If we talk about the championships, we're talking team, and MVP is a direct correlation with the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't. You're talking about him, with these stats about being in the top 5 ever.
Are we on the Westbrook yet?
No. Well, we know who it is, yes. And our video is getting a little long. So real quick, we'll throw some points in about Westbrook besides the obvious one that he just came off a triple-double season.
Yeah, he was one MVP too.
So, yeah, another one being MVP of the league.
And 2K disrespected him by putting Harden the higher overall. Absolute trash.
Harden's not a point guard.
It doesn't. I mean, just say
at all. I know, but I mean, people will say, well, Harden was a point guard this season, so he should be number 2. Harden's not a point guard. He's not at all. Mike D'Antoni did great with Harden. Harden literally wanted to stand and dribble all the time. And then Mike D'Antoni takes over and he leads the league, he's right up there in assists. That's crazy to me.
He may have actually led the league in assists.
I don't know if he did or not. But Russell Westbrook's number 1, easily at this point.
No.
But we do got to, do you have any points you want to make before we end the video?
I'm excited to see him with Paul George, see if it works.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if it will. He had Kevin Durant.
From a personal standpoint, I want to see Paul George with the Lakers. Or Westbrook with the Lakers. I hope it doesn't work. I hope it fails miserably.
I'm a Heat fan. I kind of moved past the Lakers with the whole beef, Kobe and Shaq beef back 2004.
One of the most stressful times of my life.
Yes, and I honestly kind of moved past the Lakers, where I wasn't a fan of the Lakers. But it was smart what they did. I give them that. So, but anyway, him with Paul George is going to be a lesser him and Kevin Durant to me. Except, both the same way, because Paul George to me is another one that likes to play hero ball.
Paul George can be a douchebag. He's a terrible teammate.
Yeah, and he likes to play hero ball, and that's the problem Westbrook and Durant had together. So, what we're going to do, though, is we are wrapping this video up because we're at 18 minutes. So, we do apologize once again for going over the 15-minute rule that we had set in place at the beginning of the video. But we get to arguing, and it's fun. So, actually, this one, there wasn't a whole lot of arguing. It was agreeing. But anyway, guys, so thank you for watching. If you liked it, smack that like button and hit that subscribe button.
I'd prefer you go ahead and click the mouse on the like button. If you smack the like button, you will risk breaking the screen of your computer.
And I'm so glad that we have
cut your hand.
informed Perry that there is a like button on YouTube. But anyway, guys, our next video coming up for you is the top 5 modern shooting guards, 2 guards in the league. So hopefully that video will be kept to a 15-minute maximum, but we can't make any promises. We can't. We like to talk. We like to BS. So, Perry, you got anything you want to add before we shut it off?
I really like Pizza Hut.
With true fatties right here. True fatties. See you guys in the next video.